Live from 42nd Street, this is the Pix 11 News at 6.
Now at 6, tragedy in Brooklyn. A pregnant woman and a teenager killed in a house fire, while the NYPD says this could be a case of arson.
Plus, the Biden administration weighs in on the death of Jordan Neely as calls for action grow louder and a round of protests turns violent. Also ahead.
I still remember the joy of us setting foot in the U.S., seeing my kids' faces, seeing their smiles, immediately feeling like we were safe and taken care of.
Starting over from the ground up after risking their lives across the border, migrants now trying to get back on their feet after being bused to New York City from southern states. But first,
this is breaking news from Pix 11.
Breaking news, former President Trump found liable for sexually abusing advice columnist E. Jean Carroll. Thank you so much for joining us for the Pix 11 News at 6. I'm Tamsin Fidel.
I'm Corey Chambers. That verdict announced just a few hours ago in a federal courtroom on the very first day of Georgia deliberations. The accuser, E. Jean Carroll, awarded $5 million for damages. Former president did not attend the trial, as we've reported, and he has insisted he has never sexually assaulted Carroll or even knew her at all. Eileen LaPalmer is live for us in Lower Manhattan tonight in front of the courthouse with the latest for us. Eileen.
Well, this jury came to this verdict in just 2.5 hours. They came to this verdict and they awarded E. Jean Carroll that $5 million, finding the former president liable of that sex abuse, but not liable for rape. And again, this is a civil trial, not a criminal trial. Now, E. Jean Carroll then left the courthouse a short time after the verdict was read. She was with her attorneys and did not stop to speak to the media. But she did issue a statement through her attorneys a short time ago saying in part, I filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump to clear my name and to get my life back. Today, the world finally knows the truth. This victory is not just for me, but for every woman who has suffered because she was not believed. Now, former President Trump's attorney, Joe Tacopina, left the courthouse through the back exit, but he did stop to speak with the media. He explained why President Trump did not testify at this civil trial.
Circus atmosphere, and having him be here would be more of a circus. And again, what I said in the summation yesterday, reigns true, holds true. It's that, what more could he say other than I didn't do it? And he said that under oath here. It's hard to prove a negative. Molly, I can say you stole my pen, prove you didn't do it. How would you prove it? Say you didn't do it, right? I mean, it's sort of where we're at. So, it's very simplistic to say, oh, he should have testified. He had nothing to say other than what he's already said.
And E. Jean Carroll had accused the former president of raping her in the dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman back in 1996. Again, the jury saying the former president is liable for sexual abuse. And former President Trump has been vocal on his social platform, Truth Social, saying right after the verdict, I have absolutely no idea who this woman is. The verdict is a disgrace, a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. We are live here outside of federal court in Lower Manhattan. Eileen LaPalmer, Pix 11 News.
All right, Eileen, thank you.
Well, we have more breaking news for you. Federal prosecutors have reportedly filed criminal charges against New York Congressman George Santos. This is according to CNN tonight.
The Republican lawmaker has admitted to several lies and fabrications about his background and is subject to several investigations, including by the House Ethics Committee. CNN reports he's expected to appear in federal court in New York's Eastern District as soon as tomorrow.
Although it's not clear what the charges are, the FBI and Justice Department have been looking at allegations of false statements and Santos' campaign finance filings. The freshman congressman was elected last year. The district he represents includes parts of Queens and Long Island.
We're working to confirm this independently. We'll bring you more information as we get it.
All right, now to another big story we are following tonight, the migrant crisis in New York City. The Adams administration says it's urgently searching for new spaces to turn into shelters.
Yeah, this comes with Title 42 set to expire Thursday. The measure was enacted in the early days of the COVID pandemic under the public health emergency law to prevent the spread of the virus into the U.S.
With the pandemic over, the crisis may worsen. The city bracing for an influx of asylum seekers. Part of the plan includes sending a few hundred migrants upstate. But Pix 11's Kalarama talked to an asylum seeker who says the opportunities are in New York City in this long process to become an American. Kala.
Hey, good evening, Tamsin and Corey. The city claims, actually, they have not seen any help from the state when it comes to housing these migrants. But just in from the governor's office, Governor Hochul issuing an executive order for municipalities to support migrants if they can and deploy $1 billion to support New York City's aid.
Venezuela la llevo aquí, en el corazón.
Omar Urbina and his 2 kids were among the migrant families the city asked to move upstate as it braces for an influx of asylum seekers. Omar declined their offer to keep the stability of school and sports for his 5-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter, who finally feel safe from political persecution in Venezuela after surviving a grueling 4-month trek through the jungle. His young children witnessing so much death.
The sheer amount of lives that were lost on the way, and it is something that we wish we could erase from our memory, but unfortunately we can't.
The city is bracing for more migrant families like Omar's as Title 42 expires Thursday, but the shelter system is at a breaking point. City officials are considering using vacant schools, retrofitting airport hangars, and even bringing tents back to parks, beaches, or open streets. Omar has filed for asylum with the help of his lawyer, Andrew Heinrich, founder and supervising attorney for Project Russo, which provides legal services for asylum-seeking youth. Currently, they have 65 clients.
It's not a one-step process. It's not you submit some paperwork and then everything's done.
Andrew says the arduous process of asylum can take years, and Project Russo is also preparing for an influx.
We're expecting buses to keep arriving, and we will be at the Port Authority when they do, and we will be there to help the young people and their families understand housing, school options, school enrollment.
And there he is talking about school enrollment. Right. According to Project Rousseau, the process to enroll in schools has actually slowed quite a bit because our neighborhoods are at capacity, so schools are also at capacity. And the other question is, what do these kids do in the summer? Summer Rising, we have in the city that there's only 100,000 seats, and I just confirmed today enrollment is closed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much work to do.
Yes.
So much.
Thank you.
All right, of course, we are going to have more on the migrant crisis and how it financially is impacting New York City coming up at 6:30. Kala, thank you.
All right, well, to Brooklyn now, where a pregnant woman and a 17-year-old were killed in a fast-moving fire that may have been set on purpose.
Yeah, the FDNY and NYPD believe an accelerant was used to start the fire inside of a home on Fountain Avenue in East New York. While an arson investigation is underway, we are learning more about the family tonight. Nicole Johnson has more.
A deadly and suspicious fire is raising many questions in this East New York neighborhood, including who would intentionally set a fire inside of this home filled with children.
I don't know anybody in the neighborhood that would look to do this family harm.
The fire started around 2 Tuesday morning and quickly spread from the first floor up to the second and third floors. When firefighters arrived here on Fountain Avenue, they were met by heavy flames right at the front door. That's where witnesses could hear the children screaming for help.
I just seen a lot of flames. Kids were on the first floor, and the FDNY told me, wait a minute, we'll come get you.
A 36-year-old pregnant woman died at the scene. A 17-year-old girl died later at Brookdale Hospital. 2 girls ages 14 and 10 and a 9-year-old boy are in critical condition. All of the victims are members of the same family.
You see a whole family like this together, and this time of the night, and the amount of fire, and it's very emotional.
A fire investigation immediately turned criminal after police say an accelerant was found near a stairwell. While fire marshals and crime scene unit pull out pieces of evidence from the home, neighbors are in complete shock. They say a relative of the victims owns this neighborhood deli. It's now closed indefinitely while the family deals with this tragedy.
They're very community oriented. They help out the community. They own this store right here, and that's surprising to me. I would never know of anyone that wanted to harm them.
This really hurts my heart because, like I said, that's like my family. I love them to death.
Nicole Johnson, Pix 11 News.
Tonight, activists demanding action in the case of Jordan Neely's death.
Yeah, that's right. Some calling on the federal authorities to look into the case. This is protest turned violent last night. The latest is ahead.
But first, Chris Amino is tracking your weather for the week. Chris.
Yeah, we had some clouds and an onshore breeze today, but we managed to sneak in a high of 71 degrees in the city, close to where it should be for this time of year. It was a little cooler along the coast, but look what's waiting in the wings, 70s and 80s. That's pushing in our direction towards the middle and end of this week. We'll have the details on that and your Mother's Day forecast when I come back in just a few minutes.